So I'd finish college, go to uni, start a business, and for the next 10 years would have very little interaction with spirit. And I would, in a very strange way, learn to make sense of the experiences that happened to me so far. Hi Parapeeps, thank you for tuning into this video. This is the 5th video in the series. 6th video, sorry, 5th chapter. Again, I like to be awkward because we did that little prologue thing about the fact that I'm blind and things. So, yeah, so I'm glad some of you have been giving me some good feedback. Thank you for those who left comments on the Village Dream video. That fact that something quite larger, which we put another video about out recently, I didn't realise it would spark that interesting thing that happened, which was this kind of discovery of a shared dream memory surrounded by false memories, almost like a kind of weird amalgamation between dreams and the Mandela effect. It was a very odd phenomena, but this is kind of like how it works. So, in order to explain the next sort of period of my life and the next period of my journey, it's a little bit tricky because there was a lot going on. There was a lot going on behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. There's a lot going on I can't talk about because I don't want to break any sort of privacies or confidences or anything else like that. There's a lot of sort of involved in sort of other stories there I sort of played a part, and like what was said to me when I was 16, that this side of myself would go away and come back, it pretty much did. Right on cue, about 10 years later, around about sort of the autumn time of 2008, 2008, yeah, basically, I started to have experiences, and they kind of erupted at one point, where it was like 1 minute everything was okay, the next minute I was seeing things all over the place, and it sent me a little bit loopy for a couple of days, because sometimes when these things come out, it kind of took me a bit unawares, because it didn't happen in the way I was expecting it to, and it was a bit like, I don't know, there was a lot of things that were outside what I thought. At the time, my experiences of like mediumship was just seeing apparitions, maybe hearing sounds, and what other things I was experiencing were like the bits beyond that I would yet to learn about, like things like synchronicities, things like strange coincidences, strange dreams where I'd be told certain things, like a sense of knowing, a sense of familiarity with people and locations that I'd never been to or never met before, a sense of just an overarching sense of something was about to change, something was about to happen. And the weird sense is I'm getting that kind of sense again now. And we can kind of have these senses sometimes where you feel something is about to happen, but it's not like a big cathartic experience is about to happen. It can be lots of little things that move you to a certain position. And that's basically what was happening sort of around the time of 2009, after having that initial sort of breakout. A lot of the life that I had literally just fell away. And that it was like a lot of the old friends I had around me kind of went and did other things. The place I was living, and I was told this in a dream, that this would happen. I was in a dream location very similar to what I described in the village, but this was a corridor, and at the end, instead of a balcony, it was like a classroom, And in Michael Newton's book Destiny of Souls, he draws the exact same diagram. Michael Newton, for example, was one of the things I learned about around that time, was a hypnotherapist that regressed people to the period between lives. So rather than regressing to the past life or to early childhood, he would regress people to the bits in between lives, which is called life between life regression. And one of the places that people would describe would be this sort of classroom, or this kind of this weird sort of like shared reality then, where people would kind of learn, almost like a kind of school in a sense. So I was told that my life was going to change. It was going to change quite drastically, and literally for 6 to 8 months everything came to a stop. I lost the job I was working at, I lost the band I was managing, I lost not lost the friends, but lost contact with a lot of the friends that I had around me. There was a big transition, and the job that I was working at the time, I thought that's where I wanted to go, that's what I thought my career was. And this is where I say to people, expectation creates limitation. Because I tried everything to get back there, and I got told several times, that's not the path for you. Even though I felt there were certain elements there that I would still explore, the actual place itself wasn't for me. And I ended up going to a new job, because one of the other things I developed a bit of a passion for during this time was local history, and the history of my locality, which for the Rhondda was the history of the miners, so things like the miners' strike, because my father's an ex-miner and I wanted to know more about that. I was developing at the time a much closer relationship with my father than I'd ever had, so I think that kind of factored a lot into it, plus the fact he'd recently, about in the last couple of years, been seriously ill and sort of overcame that. So there was a lot emotionally going on for me around this time as well. Yeah, life kind of went on from there, and I gradually sort of developed my ability over the next couple of years. I developed my confidence. I started like enjoying public speaking and things like that, and it gradually sort of built into it. It gradually ended up with me and my partner meeting, very, very quickly sort of getting together, and my brother was a huge factor in that. He was we actually published a magazine article about it, because the fact that she could see him and I could see him, it was like having this weird three-way conversations where the third person just isn't in this reality, and that was quite strange. So after a couple of months, we ended up getting our first house together, and everything was great. And within but before that time, we'd started running a business where we both worked as mediums, psychic readers, that sort of thing. We did charity nights. We built up a Facebook following of like 17,000 people. We do like Sunday services and that sort of thing, and it all was going really rather well. And we eventually sort of got in touch with a local paranormal group, which was Paranormal Wales, and that's where we met Richard, and we were looking to become part of his team or find out more about the paranormal, and we ended up having the cases coming into us, and we were hiring him. So there was definitely something there saying, no, because when I first met Richard, again, I had that feeling, you know, it was strange. It was like that, there is something there for us to accomplish. And when I moved into the new house, because I'd lost touch with Richard at that time. It was a few months later, but we'd only spoken a couple of times and worked on a couple of cases together. I was extremely green at this point, but we started having activity in the house. And it was strange, because before we started having the activity, Richard got in touch with us. and that's when we started to become friends, because he helped me and my partner through these experiences that we were having. And we were having like just normal weird paranormal experiences, but there was one night where I was lying in bed, my partner was sleeping, and I looked into my doorway and there was this figure, and it was really tall. It was about 6'5", I would have said, and it just looked like, it wasn't an apparition per se, because I can see an apparition probably stays for 2 or 3 seconds and it's gone, right? I can still feel it, I can still sense it, but when I see it, it doesn't stay there for too long. This, I was looking at it and it was looking at me, and I was wide awake. You know, I was moving around. I sat up in bed and I was like, what the I woke my partner. I was like, what is that? What the hell is going on? And she seen it. It was like, Jan, there's another one in the other corner. And these figures, they came in and they sat on the bed, and they started talking to us like telepathically, and it was like the oddest experience I've ever had. And when I spoke to Richard about it the next day, he gave me one of the best advice, and I've still passed this on to people. The best bit of advice that I've ever had and probably will ever have was document it. So I sat down with a camera and I went through the entire experiences we'd had up until that point. And as I'm talking about this being, there is a voice on the camera. I'm in the house pretty much on my own, and the voice is, there's no one else in the house, and the voice says, "Truth seeker, share with us."
This was lasting for a good 5 minutes. I was looking away. I got up to invest.
Jesus. Yeah, it was quite an experience. And now this is the first time really I had any interest in things like UFOs, ufology, that sort of thing. I had interest when I was younger, maybe passively through watching things like the X-Files or the Outer Limits, and maybe the odd paranormal thing like Strange But True on ITV or something, but nothing to this extent. And it was through that experience that I decided that I needed to learn more about the paranormal, and I wanted to help other people that had gone through what I'd gone through. And that's when things got interesting. So I will record the final part of this, because I think it's too much to put in one video. So guys, I'm going to leave it there for now. Thank you very, very much for listening to this story, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Hi guys, it's Jared from Paranormal Now. I hope you like the channel and hope you like the content. If you do, check out some of the other videos on screen now and click the button below to subscribe to the channel. Hope to see you soon. Take care of yourselves.